Every once in a while, there is a day of swimming that occurs that is so exciting and jam-packed with storylines that I am sitting here in my chair trying to understand what just took place, looking at all of this data, trying to pick out storylines to talk about for y'all to make it exciting, and I just get complete paralysis and end up just falling asleep. I just get overloaded and just pass out. Well, yesterday was one of those days. The 2025 NCAA Division I Men's Swimming and Diving Championships. Such a long name. Such an unnecessarily long name for an event. That event kicked off with the 200 medley relay and the 800 freestyle relay. A jam-packed night of splits, a jam-packed night of potential for chaos. Coming into tonight, it really felt like things could get messy in the team race for the first time in a long time. We could have 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 or 7.
I just bit right on the highway.
And I apologize for doing that to y'all. I definitely won't do it anymore throughout this video. I won't do it anymore. Florida would likely have to have like a perfect meet. I think they would have to have a perfect meet and everything would have to go their way for them to be able to pull off a team title. Tennessee, kind of the same way. They need everything to go right for them. They need some things to go wrong for a Cal, a Texas, and IU. Same thing for ASU, NC State, and a lot of these teams. They needed things to go perfectly their way and things to go poorly for other teams. Now, coming off the 2025 NCAA Division I Women's Swimming and Diving Championships, still an unnecessarily long name. I really think, I don't know how we fix it, but that is such a long name to like put on a t-shirt. So long. Coming off that event, though, we were kind of lulled to sleep on the DQ side of things. The women showed up, they executed, and they got out of there. And so we kind of came into this thinking, hey, the men are going to do the same thing, right?
No.
The men's 200 medley relay featured a stacked field. Georgia threw down a 122 flat in the really early heats to set the tone. Meet Mobile decided to push one of the worst updates of all time. This looks terrible. It's terrible. It's confusing. I feel like there's a lot of redundant data on there. And then the top heat cruises out ready to cause absolute chaos. Texas, capable of going 120 something. Tennessee, capable of going 120 something. Florida, capable of going 120 something. It felt like this entire heat was capable of going 120 point something in the 200 medley relay when not that long ago, it felt like no one was capable of going 120 point something in the 200 medley relay. Swimflation. Now, if you've been following my content for quite a few months or years at this point, you know that I have been on the hunt to see 3 things happen. 1, someone goes sub 20.00 in the 50 freestyle at women's NCAAs or in college swimming on the women's side. Thank you, Gretchen. 2, I want to see somebody go 1999 or faster in the short course meter 50 freestyle. Thank you, Jordan. And 3, I want to see somebody go sub 20.00 or 1999 or faster in the short course yard 50 backstroke. Thank you.
Nobody.
No one's done it yet. And I kind of like this one because we really only get like one shot at it. It feels like at NCAAs, that's our only shot. Maybe at SECs, maybe at ACCs, maybe at Big Tens. It feels like, though, NCAAs is our only shot. And since it's not an individual event, we don't get it throughout the entire year. We get it leading off the medley relays, but nothing else. Leading off the 200 medley relays, NC State's Quentin McCarty popped off for NC State. Had my heart rate up just a little bit. Just a little bit at the 25. Said he kind of missed his breakout. NC State really firing off, trying to go 1999 for you, boy. Aiden Hayes was 20.0 last year. I think we get it next year. Didn't get it this year, though. And then going into the breaststroke, Julian Smith almost beat my 50 freestyle time doing breaststroke. Josh Leandro goes flying into the pool. Oh, wait. Rewind. Hold on. Okay, ASU, by the way, did you see the backstroke leg? What happened, right? What happened? Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. Lucien Vernet broke his arm. He's got a broken arm, or he broke his arm and still went 21-2, I think, in the 50 backstroke. 21-2 in the 50 backstroke. I have 2 perfectly okay arms, and I barely broke 22 in the 50 freestyle. This has turned into a self-roast. Okay, fast forward again. Speaking of ASU, Ilya Karum with a 18.750 butterfly on ASU's 200 medley relay. The fastest time in history. Again, takes his fastest time in history even lower. How far are we going to take this thing? How far are we going to take this thing? We would go 17 to 50 butterfly at some point? And then drama. Excitement.
More drama.
We saw 3 sub 1850 freestyle splits in the field. Chris Giuliano of Texas, who was the missing piece that Texas bought from Notre Dame for probably like $1 million. That's a joke, by the way. That's a joke. Don't sue me. Texas, I'm looking at you. Giuliano split 17-8. Johnny Kulo 17-7 on the end of ASU's 200 medley relay. And Jordan Crooks, you know the name, 17.6. And we almost had more. We almost had more in the field. Cal, Jack Alexi, 18-0. Matt King of Indiana, 18-1. We could have seen like 4, 5, 6, 7.
I just bit right on the highway.
We could see a lot more guys going like we could see a lot more guys going sub 18 very soon. Moving on. All right, now drama. Where's the drama? Well, Florida gets the win in an NCAA record and gets DQ'd. An early takeoff from Scotty Buff minus 0.06 DQs the relay and more than likely takes UF out of the title conversation at the beginning of this video. We talked about how UF would have really needed to just be perfect. NCAAs is really a brutal event. It's a lot of fun when it's tight at the top. But if you slip up, like 3 teams DQ'd in the first event, Florida, early takeoff, Michigan, early takeoff, Virginia Tech, 15-meter violation. It's going to be tough to come back from that. Now, let me tell you something before we move on. If the 200 medley relay is any sort of preview for what we are going to get to watch in the 200 freestyle relay, ooh, buddy, don't miss that. Forgot to mention, by the way, speaking of drama, my fire alarm went off, started going off during heat 2 of the 200 medley relay. I stayed right here. I ain't moving. I tie together some bed sheets, rappel down the side of the building before I miss the stacked final of that 200 medley relay that we got to watch. I did not get up out of my chair, and it was a good choice. And then right after the last heat of the 200 medley relay, I scurried downstairs with my laptop tucked under my shirt because it was raining outside and waited for the fire guys to show up and tell me that it was safe to go back in the building and stop the loud noises. The 800 freestyle relay. 2-team race. Come on. This one was Texas and Cal from the jump. Texas and Cal from the jump. It was going to be Texas and Cal from the second jump. Texas and Cal from the third jump. And it was going to be Texas and Cal from the fourth jump. Whoa, what the? Don't worry about that. We'll get to that in a second. Now, much like the 200 medley relay, anchor splits being sub 8 team, it really seems like we just all collectively as a sport decided that 130 in the 200 freestyle, going 129 in that, good to go. Let's just start doing it all over the place. Luke Hobson broke 129. He was 128.9 leading off without a relay start. That's what that means. Jack Alexi 130.0 leading off. Give the guy a swing. 129.6 probably. Gabe Jett 129.16. Rex Maurer 129.9. Dustin Lasco 129.10. Not sure why I did that in that order, but Julian Smith 129.92. What a nasty double. Nasty double. Get you a man that can do breaststroke and ooh, nope. That's bad writing. That's bad writing. We're going to move on. We're powering through this race. Texas and Cal separate themselves from the field, and then another relay start issue. What's the deal in Federal Way? I'm trying to keep up with incoming transmissions now on my phone. My phone's blowing up. The ESPN feed definitely made it look like Lucas Henvo pushed off the bottom of the pool. Did he push off the bottom of the pool? He hit the bottom of the pool? What's going on? Rowdy Gaines is going nuts, rightfully so.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
I'm trying to keep up, and then wham, 559 and an 800 freestyle relay. Remember at the beginning of the video when I talked about how there are moments in time where I'm sitting here trying to take in all of this data and it just paralyzes me. Well, 2 for 2 tonight. I'm convinced at this point that Lucas Henvo pushed off the bottom of the pool. It sure does look like he pushed off the bottom of the pool from the ESPN feed. I'm convinced. Everyone's convinced until I see this. Shout out to Kyle Millis for taking this video. I think Lucas Henvo owes you dinner because without this footage, it just looks like he pushed right off the bottom of the pool. Now, I will say, without an underwater clip, we will never know. Water's tough to see through, and without an underwater clip, we're not just going to get that perfect visual of did he touch the bottom of the pool. Now, with that also being said, have you ever watched baseball? Have you ever watched a baseball player pretend like they got hit by a foul ball? Foul ball? What does that mean? Have you ever seen a baseball player pretend like they got hit by a pitch? Have you ever seen them tell the umpire, oh, actually, I didn't check my swing. I actually swung. There are going to be moments in time where you clip the bottom of the pool, which does not make you faster. And the ref's not going to see it. And that's just the sport. That's just sports in general. We need to move on. He went 131 in the 200 freestyle, doing a half exploded pullout. 131. It really seems like Cal has 3, 4, 5, 6. Nah, I'm not going to do it. This is going to take a while to edit, so no real funny sign off. Like the video if you made it this far. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm reading this off the screen. Don't be mad at me. See you later. Goodbye.
7.